CTE Career Academy, so Career Technical Education. So hi everyone, I am Ms. Richards. I'm the Academy Coordinator. I am also actually a digital media instructor at the school as well. And I'll talk about what that pathway is like in just a moment. In terms of what we do, so this is what we talked about for our CTE freshmen and families about what's next. So you're at Prosser, and this is awesome. We love it. You know, so excited that you are all our freshman Falcons. So what is next that we have going on? And just a reminder, just so that everyone knows what we do in CTE. So we are, basically teaching lifelong skills to the students that are, in our seats in front of us or, doing teamwork with us and hands-on training. We do this with post-secondary education and their career pathways with advanced career training. We also look at viable jobs with meaningful career paths through standards-based curriculum. So our curriculum that we do is standard-based in a lot of different ways, and I can talk about that as well. It's not just looking at the Common Core that you would see for mathematics or science or what we have for literacy. We also look at those standards that we see in industry. So when we talk about, OSHA safety, or when we talk about things that are needed on factory floors, for instance, for manufacturing, or what we do when it comes to, what a design firm is really looking for in digital media, or what construction sites are really looking for the laborers union, et cetera. We really look at those standards, and that's how we base our curriculum, and we integrate hands-on training with that theory. We do this through academic instruction, right? So we teach. And we also use industry-recognized career and technical skills when we actually write what our lessons are and things like that. And workplace readiness skills. So those 21st century skills, things that are really important. So being a good employee, also being a good manager to those that are around you, and team building. So what we offer at Prosser, we have digital media, we have game programming, machine technology, so manufacturing, tool and die. We have carpentry construction. You kind of see us interchange that sometimes. We might say carpentry sometimes, we might say building construction others. So just to keep in mind, that's the same thing. HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. We have electrical renewable energy, so solar renewable energy pathway at Prosser as well. Automotive technology, auto collision and repair, which formerly was auto body, and then culinary arts. We have a wide variety of job shadows and internships that are available to students. We start these job shadows typically around December of students' junior year in CTE. This year, as we all know, is a little different. A lot of job shadows were virtual, as well as speaking engagements. So whether students could actually attend those virtual job shadows or speaking engagements, they were all recorded as well, and they've been being shared in classrooms. So you might have a student that is, hearing about a design firm or possibly from a production assistant on the set of a movie, right? But it might have been something that was pre-recorded. Or you'll have students that are hearing from, various entities like Sodexo and what we do for engineering trades and things like that. So what we do with this is instructors match students to job shadow opportunities Q1 of their junior year. So again, this would be if we were in person. This year, all students had the opportunity to see videos or be a part of speaking engagements. And each cluster has a certain number of placement opportunities through CTE when they are matched. Now that's CTE downtown, right? At Prosser, we also do our own job shadows. So we try to connect students to a wide variety of our own partners that we work with at Prosser outside of just CTE downtown to connect for those job shadows also. And I can use, for instance, one of them. Recently, we had digital media students that actually filmed a virtual, so they did production assistant work for Sodexo Magic, and they filmed a virtual job shadow this year for students at Prosser and throughout the district, which is really awesome. So that was a connection that we made through Prosser and not just something that was, basically grown from a downtown source. And then students, once they accept those matches and complete the necessary paperwork, so things like making sure their parents know they're going to be doing a job shadow, right? Because typically these are during the school day. And then also their attendance verification forms and things like that. They will attend a job shadow on a CPS school day. Now, something to keep in mind. We also do job shadows as large field trips for exposure purposes, right? So I might send an entire manufacturing class to do a shadow day at a place like MyJack, which is towards the south side, so that they can see different ways that the manufacturing is done on factory floors and things like that. That whole day would encompass a job shadow. They would, hang out with people that are, working actually on the floor, listen to speakers that this is their career, and talk about ways that they can get into this trade and career pathway. Also, last year, we had a wonderful partnership, and we still have it, with Junior Achievement, where we built entire days around job shadow and career speaking experiences and things like that were offsite. So we worked and did this at Robert Morris. We also took advantage of this in other atmospheres, like took students to see, basically how finances are run at a bank, or we used different entities like technology and coding to come and talk with our students as well, and actually took them on site to do job shadows. So last year we were able to cover just Prosser in-house. I believe that it ended up being, with our attendance, 94% of our juniors all had a job shadow, which is fantastic. And typically job shadows then lead to internships. So our internships, sometimes they're over spring break. It just depends on the pathway. Like manufacturing has wonderful abilities for spring break internships that are often paid. But the majority of everyone, it's over the summer. So it's a 6-week paid internship through One Summer Chicago. And students are basically, everyone is given the opportunity to apply. Everyone is given the opportunity to, be a part of the process. And it's just whether or not they are selected and matched by CPS downtown that they would actually take part in this. Some of the companies that we're connected with, I know I've said some of the names, and you guys have probably seen this before, but these are some of the big ones. There's a lot more. So everything from Enterprise Rent-A-Car for automotive technology, United Airlines, CTA, ComEd, Gerber. We have a long lineage with Gerber, actually. Sodexo Magic, like I mentioned before, our Donnelly, which is very close to us for manufacturing, National Geographic, 50,000 feet, so design firms, things like that. So a wide variety of companies, and this is just a tiny drop in the bucket. There's a lot more. Some of our current partners in which we look to actually develop our curriculum and lesson plans are places like the Chicago Federation of Labor, right? IBEW's Local 134 for our electrical union. Manufacturing Renaissance. The Chicago Teachers Union actually employs some of our students as well at Prosser as interns while they are at school. And Local 701, we also have the Chicago Carpenters Union, and of course our dual credit opportunities and articulation credits through the City Colleges of Chicago. But there are many, many more. So Triton College, and we have tons of partners that are not on here for our design classes and things like that as well. But this is just a little tidbit so you guys can see, get an idea. Some of the classes right now that we have dual credit or articulation for in CTE, and this is ever expanding, and I can tell you what we're looking towards for the future. Currently, digital media has 3 opportunities actually for articulation through Columbia College Chicago. We also have this with Flashpoint Columbia downtown, this obviously in Chicago, but they also have a Los Angeles campus. We have an articulation agreement through Photoshop certification and Illustrator certification with the School of the Art Institute here in Chicago, and we are also working on the same agreement with Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, so MIAD. Machine technology is huge across the board for what they are able to capture actually through Wright College. Their dual credit possibilities start as early as their sophomore year, and students going through those pathways can actually achieve up to 15 credit hours of college credit when they are done with their courses at Prosser. Some other things to think about: we are moving forward with some dual credit opportunities with Triton for our electrical class for solar renewable energy. We are doing the same thing with Triton and automotive technology. We also have articulation and opportunities through the Universal Technical Institute for our manufacturing classes, HVAC. We also have the same thing for automotive classes as well. And those are, they give discounts specifically to Prosser students. They're also on their early onboarding for their junior year, where they can take classes that actually completely connect to a class that they don't have to then take when they go into the college, so they're articulated with them. There's some really great opportunities that are there as well. And we're always expanding, so it's just something to keep in mind. Certifications that we currently offer, and this is for a wide variety of our pathways. Every pathway has a certification. Sorry if you hear anything in the background. I do co-teach with Miss Wallach in digital media, so my juniors right now are working on their final exam, their final projects, so you might hear them in the background. We have OSHA 10-hour construction. We also do OSHA 10-hour general. We have NIMS credentialing, food service sanitation, Photoshop and Illustrator certifications, Microsoft Expert. There's other coding certifications as well. And just to give you an idea of a senior year snapshot for a CTE student, say in digital media. So this isn't just to digital media. These students would have this in other classes as well. But typically our students take 2 REACH exams. They do their certification testing for digital media. This would be Photoshop their senior year, and their junior year would be Illustrator. They have a capstone creation, which is their 3 years of design and a portfolio, and they spend their whole last semester working on this of their senior year. And then they also have their IBCP exams if they are in International Baccalaureate Career Program. But any of the other pathways, they'd be doing the same thing. So they would do REACH exams, they would do their certification exams like NOCTI or Precision. They'd be developing their portfolios as well and things like that. So in terms of, what we do at Prosser with how our students are programmed. So CTE and IB career programs. Students, if they come into Prosser as an IB student, and during their freshman year, they actually get the choice to remain in the diploma program, so IBDP, or they can go into IBCP, which is the career program. The career program offers them the rigor of IB, right? So you will see some of the possibilities of classes that they can take. And it also offers them their skill training and a career pathway. And something to keep in mind, right? So in CTE, our method is support. So we want to be able to support our students in their choices for post-secondary. This can be to go to college or trade school. This can also be to go directly into an employment situation. We want to make sure that students have choices and have opportunities. And CP is just a wonderful, it's another avenue to really offer this to students as well. So their sophomore year, CP students take honors English, history, and chemistry, and they have 1 period of their CTE course. Their junior year, they will take their 3 advanced level IB courses and 2 periods of their CTE course. And it's the same their senior year. So 3 advanced level IB courses and 2 periods of CTE. Some example colleges attended after graduation. So it runs the gamut, right? There's tons of them. It's not just Illinois-based schools. We've had students that, go all the way to New York. They go all the way to the West Coast. They are just all over the map, and we're incredibly proud of them. And this is not just obviously CTE students. All of our Prosser students do a wonderful job in post-secondary college and university as well. So this is just a small sampling of some of the schools they go to. And some of the careers started after graduation, and students, alumni, right? So former students that I keep up with throughout time, these are some of the careers that they've gone into. So graphic design, art therapy, construction, bricklaying, electrician with IBEW. I'm following 2 current alumni right now in their full year of this process. We've also had students, what's wonderful if you don't know about the TAP program for Sodexo Magic, so the engineers that we have in CPS schools. 2 of our students in the prime of that program, so right when they started, right, that first year, 2 of our students through Prosser were taken into that program. They remain in that program. This is their 2nd year. They are doing wonderful work in CPS schools. They are in college because Sodexo pays for their associate's degree at the same time that they work full-time. They're doing a beautiful job. We're really excited about the things that they have going on. And I just don't have that listed on here. I am sorry about that. But that is engineering in the CPS schools with the TAP program through Sodexo. So how it works. Freshman year, students rank their CTE pathway. Now, typically, if we were in person in school, and I keep this on here because I think it's important to see both, because some of you have had students, right, that they're in the upper grades now, and this would have been their experience. Virtual is a little different this year, and I'm going to explain that too in slides to come. But how it typically works is students are in an investigation their freshman year. They go and they check out all the pathways, the shops that we offer, and they come back and they rank those choices. So 1 to 9, what are their favorites? And then I immerse them. So I put them in those pathways, that their top 4, for a little bit more time. I want to know, do they really like it? Because it's 3 years, right? This is an important decision. And we ask parents to be on board. That's why we do these parent meetings and we send out emails. Because really our parents, us, right? I mean, I have a little one too. I think that we're pivotal in some of the decision making that happens with our students. We want to make sure they're not choosing something just because they have a friend in it. We want to make sure that they have an interest, because that interest can, brew all sorts of possibilities. And then from there, we program them. So we do an interview, and I will talk about that too shortly. Their sophomore year is a single period. It's the orientation level, so all foundational skills. Their junior year is a double period, which is the training level. So this is where we start taking that theory, right? So what they're being taught, and we start to gradually release them into hands-on training. So really getting their hands dirty and starting to work. And senior year is a double advanced period. This is where we really start to look at teamwork and that hands-on training, right? And we start putting them in more small groups and have them take on leadership roles. While they're still learning from their instructor, they're also creating. And then you can see also, we call that a gradual release of responsibilities. So you can see kind of how we form our lessons and our units and things like that. And this is what we have coming up next. So before I go into this, I want to give you guys a moment because I've said a lot. I want to give you guys a moment because I've said a lot. If you have any questions about anything I already said, or if everybody's just doing good, we do this check-in in classes too all the time because I think it's important. So we do a thumbs up, we say an I'm good or everything's great in the chat box, something like that. But if anybody has any questions, I just want to give you a second before I move on. All right, so I am going to go ahead. I feel like everybody's still doing okay. You're still with us, and that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and explain our next steps. So the next steps that we have going on right now is the CTE investigation tour. We are doing this virtually, okay? So February the 8th, we also have a makeup opportunity on the 10th, and students will see this in advisory on February 12th. Freshmen are going to be given a video presentation of me and the CTE classrooms talking about what we offer in each course. This video is going to be emailed to parents as well as students on the 8th and the 10th. So the video, I will also include the slides. So if you don't feel like watching me, that's okay. You can look through the slides too. But on February 12th during advisory, students are going to have the opportunity to see this again. And why it's important, I think, 3 times is because I just, sometimes students miss an email. They're receiving a lot of things, communication and correspondence from other teachers. And we just want to make sure they really see it. Because again, it's an important 3 years in their career, right? Their high school career at Prosser, to make sure that they pick the right CTE pathway. From there, in that same email, they're going to have a survey. The survey we have done for years, right? It's really important for me to see their CTE courses ranked 1 to 9. 1 is the course that they want the most, and 9 would be the least. The survey is mandatory. It really helps us program students. And if a class is full, I can then see what was their number 2 option, what was something they were really interested in, and I can talk with those students and reach out to them to make sure that they're choosing the best pathway. Step 3 is going to be CTE interview days. Now, what happens after this survey, after this video? The following week, so probably on February 18th is going to be the golden ticket. That's going to be the day, right? We are going to basically send out an email, I will, after I receive the interest survey, And I will send the email for students, so freshman students, to make an appointment with their CTE instructor. This is going to be on February 23rd, 24th, and 25th after school from 4 to 5 p.m. each day. Okay, so this appointment is like 5 minutes. It's not long, just a 5-minute appointment to check in, meet the teacher, ask them any questions that they might have about a class to make sure that they're in the right, and choosing the right pathway. We feel that this is really important. We would normally do this even if we were in person. It's always great for us to meet our students, and this way we can start to program our classes. So students should only be making one interview though. So I can't stress that enough. If their number one choice was, I really want to be in construction, awesome. Then their number one choice needs to be their only interview. The only way that they would make another choice is if for some reason construction didn't work out for them. So they didn't like the construction teacher, they didn't like something that maybe, he was talking about that he might do with lessons, and that's when they would do a second. But before they do that, I always ask them to reach out to me, and that will all be inside of their email. So reach out to me, Ms. Richards at lrichards3@cps.edu, so that I can make sure to kind of keep them on the right path. So students only make one interview appointment, and it's for about 5 minutes. So why should they interview? Students get to meet with their instructor, hear more about the class. They get to see, the interests, things like that. The instructor can answer questions. And here's part of it. If a student does not interview, they will be placed in whatever CTE courses remaining after interviews. So again, in the email that I will send out, I will make sure that it is known that this is very important. We would do the same if it was in person. If a student does not interview, then they end up with whatever CTE courses are left, and I look at their ranking to make sure that I'm choosing still along their pathway of what they thought they wanted to take the most. That's why the ranking is so important with the survey. And I talked to you all about the second interview, and that's something that, will also be in that email to students. Like I said, interviews are roughly 5 minutes long. So we ask that students be on time and, prepared, right? So if they have questions, I think it's important. And some things that they may be asked during the interview. So why are you interested in this course? If it's for a creative class like digital media or gaming, do they have a portfolio, or is there something they want to show? Like, do they love photography? Maybe they want to show their photography. Maybe they really love videos and they want to show that too. What are your grades and attendance like? This is important for some of our classes that have dual credit opportunities. We want to make sure that all students are able to participate, of course, but it's also good to know, kind of where they're coming from. And then we do, and what do they hope to learn in the course as well is a really important question, to make sure that they're aligned to, actually what's going to happen in that course. So students think that, for instance, in, I don't know, HVAC, they're going to learn about how to, do aviation technology. That's obviously not true, right? So that's why we ask those questions. I know that's completely opposite, but these kinds of things happen sometimes. So just something to keep in mind. And then basically the close is we ask that you talk with your child about the best pathway to study while they're at process. Really encourage them to take all the steps seriously, from the virtual investigation all the way to the interview. If you have any questions about academics or anything like that with CTE, we ask you to go to prossercareeracademy.org. Under the academics tab at the top right of the page, you will see a link for career technical education, and you can find more information about our CTE pathways in the program. You, of course, can always email me, so Lindsay Richards at lrichards3@cps.edu, and of course, Mr. Cardona, and you'll see his email there as well, is jccardona@cps.edu. And we can put these in the chat box as well if you don't have them, but we are always here to answer questions. I will go ahead and stop presenting. And again, any questions, I'm here to answer. So definitely ask away, and I will put that information in the chat box.
Thank you very much, Ms. Richards. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Richards?